Hey, good afternoon, folks. Eric Star Eagle here, poet, bard, and this is another edition of in the rainforest of British Columbia here. It's beautiful. It reminds me of that movie First Blood when I watched it when I was a kid, for whatever reason. But yes, what we're going to be doing is this is the first segment of my good friend Charlie and co-founder of Halcyon Imagineers, our internet venture to showcase people's talents and skills and gifts. Charlie has created a visionary manifesto, many different political, sociological, and philosophical ideas. Wonderful imagination this guy has. Very, intellectually keen, and there's going to be a lot of fascinating stuff, mentally stimulating stuff. So really, without further ado, we're going to be introducing you to Mr. Gnosis, Charlie Spittle again, and he's going to be doing some readings. Coming at you.
Hi, I'm Charlie Spittle. My colleague,
Eric Star Eagle.
Eric Star Eagle has given me the nickname Mr. Gnosis, I guess because he believes I'm a very knowledgeable guy. But without further ado, I'd like to read some of the things from my manifesto. The first is, I found this piece of paper of philosophy at SFU, and it was in the registrar's office or something, and then I asked to photocopy it, and I'd like to read it now. Here it goes. I fully realize that I have not succeeded in answering all of your questions. Indeed, I feel I have not answered any of them completely. The answers I have found only serve to raise a whole new set of questions, which only lead to more problems, some of which we weren't even aware were problems. To sum it all up, in some ways I feel we are confused as ever, but I believe we are confused on a higher level and about more important things. Anonymous. Now, this section of my manifesto I'd like to read to you is on the topic and subject of love. Most people, when referring to making love, they mean romantic physical passion between two people, sex. I would like to expand on the definition of making love. To me, making love is invoking a safe atmosphere and environment where people can get to know each other and communicate. People being courteous, respectful, and polite to each other, encompassing a nurturing, loving environment where they can learn, love, understand, and grow with each other. This includes magnanimity, humility, grace, empathy, understanding, sympathy, being willing to listen to another's point of view and avoid cruel remarks, insults, or mind games. Blocking is key to creating this ideal atmosphere. In other words, not striking back with a verbal counterattack when someone has insulted you or spited you. I wrote that in March 29, 2004. And here's another one. I think humanity's highest purpose is love, not truth. The pursuit of the truth and being truthful are very important things for people and lead to a discovery of humanity's identity and the nature of things. But I believe that this concept comes second to love. Love encompasses compassion, understanding, forgiveness, mercy, tolerance, acceptance, platonic and romantic relationships, camaraderie, positive family relations, friendship, generosity, empathy, caring, patience, devotion, altruism, selflessness, sharing, redemption, sacrifice, thoughtfulness, sensitivity, nobleness, magnanimity, conscience, putting another one's need before one's needs, a concern for the well-being of others as well as the whole group involved, and global understanding and contribution. In other words, love represents humanity at its best, in thought, words, and in action, not only towards each other, but to the whole as well. Truth, the reality of things, in some cases and overall universally, is elusive to humanity and I believe is beyond our grasp in this existence. What should you value as higher to human beings, truthfulness or unconditional love? Which is more important to advancing and keeping the human race alive? I'd much rather have a world full of Mother Teresas than a world filled with Einsteins. Is it so important to be truthful in every way about everything toward and about everyone in every circumstance, no matter how trivial, that it results in the loss of a friendship, romantic relationship, splitting apart of a family, creation of animosity among individuals and groups of people, possibly resulting into the catastrophe of war, hurt feelings, broken relationships, creation of unnecessary enemies, unnecessary conflict? That's why I believe that in general people have had it wrong for a very long time in considering truth to be humanity's highest achievement or goal and not love. So what if your love is based on a lie? It's the love that counts. I wrote that November 2nd, 2003. Here's another one. When I speak of love, I am not speaking of some sentimental and weak response. I'm not speaking of that force which is just emotional bosh. I am speaking of that force which all of the great religions have seen as the supreme unifying principle of life. Love is somehow the key that unlocks the door which leads to ultimate reality. This Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist belief about ultimate reality is beautifully summed up in the first epistle of St. John. Let us love one another, for love is God. Summed up in the first, And every one that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us. Let us hope that this spirit will become the order of the day. Martin Luther King Jr. Love trumps truth. Charlie Spittle, April 2nd, 2008. What takes precedence, love or truth? People say you can't have one without the other, or that they are one and the same. There are certainly some words which intersect between both love and truth, such as faithfulness, fidelity, honesty, God, trust, relationships, religion, spirituality, morality, devotion, unconditional and absolute. But I argue that they may be the same in a lot of ways, and that at times you can't have one without the other. They also at times can be different and at odds with each other, in other words, choosing either or between the two. And although it seems to be the common belief in morality among people that honesty, integrity, and truth should take precedence, there are the expressions, honesty is the best policy and the truth will set you free. I believe there are times when love takes precedence. We've all heard of the white lies, the little harmless lies we tell others to spare their feelings or to avoid bigger unnecessary complications or conflicts. I think love is our highest state of being through thought, speech, action, and or behavior. Haven't we at times not told the truth, not ratted someone out, or lied to protect those we love and trust us? Have we not chosen loyalty to a person, group of people, a relationship in sacrifice of the truth? And hasn't that lie, cover-up, and or withholding of the truth, no matter how great or important it was, is, or seemed, dwarf in comparison to the life or number of lives saved because of the lie, cover-up, withholding of truth, or the preservation of an important relationship, friendship, or family connection? Hasn't love, loyalty, in this case, take precedence over truth? I don't know about you, but I believe it does. Charlie Spittle, June 27, 2006. I believe that love is stronger than hate, that peace is a better solution than war, and that truth and justice will prevail. But these things are not given to humanity automatically. We must work for them. If will, then these things will be the products of our efforts. Charlie Spittle, June 5th, 2004. I believe that love is our most powerful thought, action, and state of being and calling. It is so powerful that it pervades humanity. I believe all humans are capable and cannot exist without some form of love. Even the most villainous, demonized people, or people we conceive as a personification of evil, have the capacity to love and are loved. Even Osama bin Laden is a good father, devoted husband, and loyal friend to his family and inner circle. Even the serial killer in The Silence of the Lambs loved his dog. The trick is getting human beings to love each other and everyone of each other to establish world peace. Charlie Spittle, June 5th, 2004. Love and truth is universal to humanity. Not even evil can escape the power, pervasiveness, and ubiquity of truth and love. Charlie Spittle, November 29, 2005. Love conquers all. Even the misguided have each other. An example is the neo-Nazis. Even they have love and acceptance in their community of hate and prejudice to others. Charlie Spittle, May 18, 2006. Compassion means to suffer with. No worldly king, no amount of brute force can ever command love. True love is not about finding the perfect person. It is about seeing an imperfect person perfectly. Some people will reject my philosophies and be stubborn and obstinate, but the truth is of paramount importance over love and will go to the grave with this belief. The reason why I believe that some people would be so adamant is because they have given up friendships, lovers, or have had broken family relations over their belief they don't want to be wrong or have made such sacrifices in vain. Charlie Spittle, September 22nd, 2004. Although I have said before that love is humanity's highest form of being, over truth, I still hold truth in an extremely high regard as the second highest plane of action, thought, knowledge, and conduct for human beings. It still is very important for us to be truthful to each other on the things that matter, the things that count, such as feelings, beliefs, morals, values, ethics, consciousness, fairness, and equality, but not every trivial thing. When being truthful, take the human condition into account. When dealing with others, use your heart more than your mind, and remember that human beings are emotional creatures, so be sensitive to other people's feelings. You can be direct and honest without being harsh or brutal by using tact, diplomacy, empathy, and understanding to carefully choose your words you use and the way you say them to create no or at least a minimal of offense to the other person or people. This will make it easier for the other to swallow or accept if the other accepts at all, and you can create true freedom of yourself and the other by being truthful to each other, for the Bible says the truth will set you free. Charlie Spittle, July 18, 2004. The reason why men swear is because they don't have the words to say what's on their mind. Him I call a Brahma, who utters true speech, instructive and free from harshness, so that he offends no one. Buddha. Genuine love ought to be founded on the mutual recognition of two liberties. The lovers would then experience themselves both as self and the other. Simone de Beauvoir. Humanity, religion, spirituality, and philosophy need to change your focus from truth to love. Currently, we all agree that truth should be worshipped despite race, religion, or creed, and we all agree on the definition of truth, that being of the genuine nature of reality and the authenticity of the factual description and definitions of people, places, and things, and history, God and the universe. But what we can't agree on is what the truth actually is, its identity. I believe that this makes truth more divisive than uniting. People worship different gods if they believe in a god at all, believe in different histories, science versus religion, different spiritualities and philosophies, etc., etc., etc. What we can agree on, though, is love. That what is definition is and what it is and how to practice it. The golden rule, universal to all religions, ethics, morals, and values. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Love thy neighbor as thyself. The concept, definition, and practice of love to each and every fellow human being is what is uniting to all peoples of the world. The truth is more elusive and beyond our capability, comprehension, understanding, reach, and or discovery than we would like to admit for the bigger questions in life, the unanswerable questions. Life is a mystery. Don't waste your time trying to figure it out. What we do know for certain, besides love, is what works and what works most efficiently. Who cares whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, Sikh, or an atheist, or anything else for that matter? Who cares, and what does it matter which of these religions, philosophies, or respective histories of that we can't prove any of them to be true at all? That's why they call it faith, believing without evidence. What matters is which one of these, or any or other that I didn't mention, makes you a better human being for others and helps make the world a better place. In other words, which one works best for you to do this? One definition of God, by the way, is God is love. Charlie Spittle, December 31st, 2007. Just because you have to love everyone for world peace doesn't mean you have to like everyone, and everyone doesn't have to like you. Charlie Spittle, January 14, 2008. True love is unselfish. It is when you want another's happiness more than your own. Charlie Spittle, March 7, 2008. The greatest achievement of any human being is to love God, yourself, and others. Oprah Winfrey. Hatred and bitterness can never cure the disease of fear. Only love can do that. Hatred paralyzes life. Love releases it. Hatred confuses life. Love harmonizes it. Hatred darkens life. Love illuminates it. Martin Luther King Jr. Never is hate diminished by hatred. It is only diminished by love. This is an eternal law. Buddha. I'm concerned about a better world. I'm concerned about justice. I'm concerned about brotherhood. I'm concerned about truth. And when one is concerned about that, he can never advocate violence. For through violence you may murder a murderer, but you can't murder murder. Through violence you may murder a liar, but you can't establish truth. Through violence you may murder a hater, but you can't murder hate through violence. Darkness cannot put out darkness. Only light can do that. And as I say to you, I have also decided to stick with love, for I know that love is ultimately the only answer to mankind's problems, and I'm going to talk about it everywhere I go. I know it isn't popular to talk about it in some circles today, and I am not talking about emotional bosh when I talk about love. I'm talking about a strong, demanding love, for I have seen too much hate. I've seen too much hate on the faces of sheriffs in the South. I've seen hate on the faces of too many Klansmen and too many white citizens, counselors in the South, to want to hate myself, because every time I see it, I know that it does something to their faces and their personalities, and I say to myself that hate is too great a burden to bear. I have decided to love. If you are seeking the highest good, I think you can find it through love. And the beautiful thing is that we aren't moving wrong when we do it, because John was right. God is love. He who hates does not know God, but he who loves has a key that unlocks the door to the meaning of ultimate reality. And so I say to you today, my friends, that you may be able to speak with the tongues of men and angels. You may have the eloquence of articulate speech, but if you have not love, it means nothing. Yes, you may have the gift of prophecy. You may have the gift of scientific prediction and understand the behavior of molecules. You may break into the storehouse of nature and bring forth many new insights. Yes, you may ascend to the heights of academic achievement so that you have all knowledge, and you may boast of your great institutions of learning and the boundless extent of your degrees. But if you have not love, all of these mean absolute nothing. You may even give your goods to feed the poor. You may bestow great gifts to charity, and you may tower high in philanthropy. But if you have not love, your charity means nothing. You may even give your body to be burned and die the death of a martyr, and your split blood may be a symbol of honor for generations yet unborn, and thousands may praise you as one of history's greatest heroes. But if you have not love, your blood was split in vain. What I'm trying to get you to see this morning is that a man may be self-centered in his self-denial and self-righteous in his self-sacrifice. His generosity may feed his ego, and his piety may feed his pride. So without love, benevolence becomes egotism, and martyrdom becomes spiritual pride. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You're never whole or complete until you love another, and when that other loves you back. Jeff Goldman, Holy Man. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now we got to get this thing right. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Let us love one another, for love is God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. He that loves not another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us. St. John. John Osborne play. Jimmy speaking to Elena looked back in anger. It is no good trying to fool yourself about love. You can't fall into it like a soft job without dirtying up your hands. It takes muscle and guts, and if you can't bear the thought of messing up your nice clean soul, you better give up the whole idea of life and become a saint, because you'll never make it as a human being. It's either this world or the next. A warrior does not give up what he loves. He finds the love in what he does. Peaceful warrior Nick Nolte. Power, properly understood, is the ability to achieve purpose. It is the strength required to bring about social, political, or economic changes. In this sense, power is not only desirable, but necessary in order to implement the demands of love and justice. One of the greatest problems of history is that the concepts of love and power are usually contrasted as polar opposites. Love is identified with a resignation of power, and power with a denial of love. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. Justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If we do not act, we shall surely be dragged down the long, dark, and shameful corridors of time reserved for those who possess power without compassion, might without morality, and strength without sight. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On some positions, cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expedience asks the question, is it politic? And vanity comes along and asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but he must do it because conscience tells him it is right. God plus one is a majority. Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Now I'm going to paraphrase the Bible. Dr. Martin Luther King made a philosophical quote out of the origins that he got from the Bible, and it goes like this: if I speak with the tongues of men and angels, but do not have love, love becomes a noisy clang or clanging cymbal. And if I have the gift of prophecy, and know all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove the mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. And if I give all my possessions to feed the poor, and deliver my body to be burned, but do not have love, it profits me nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, and it's not jealous. Love does not brag and is not arrogant. It does not act unbecomingly. It does not seek its own, is not provoked, does not take into an account a wrong suffered, does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth, bears all things, believes all things, endures all things. Love never fails, but if there are gifts of prophecy, they will be done away. If there are tongues, they will cease. If there is knowledge, they will be done away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when the perfect comes, the partial will be done away. When I was a child, I used to speak as a child, think as a child, reason as a child. When I became a man, I did away with childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know fully, just as I have been fully known. But now abide faith, hope, love. These three, but the greatest of these is love. Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 13. Thank you.